All right, here we are again at the Yelm Plasma Expo. It is in the afternoon time, and we're going to go over a cup demo, a health cup demo with Heather Bryant and everybody participating here in the room. Hello again. Everybody's still here. All right.
From the potty and all of that.
Yeah, we're going to build the entire health cup.
We weren't supposed to say that live, sorry.
There's no not supposed to.
This is true.
All right,
Okay,
Heather.
so what I'm going to demonstrate is how to make a double-walled cup. How many people here have a double-walled? Beautiful. Okay, there's many ways of making one, and I guess we should say what would be the reason to make one in the first place. To me, it's to keep from having to stick my spoon in one of these every day. You know, you can, and it works just fine, or you can have the plasma water in the lining of this cup, and every time you fill it up, you know, we drink our well water, you know, put that in the spigot, shake it up a little bit, and I talk to it and ask it to energize it and wake it up and be everything that my body requires for its balance today. You can also ask it to feed you. That's another subject. Or balance anything that you're choosing to balance, right?
That sounds a lot like a blessing.
Yes, and you can charge your water, you know, with your hands. Your hands are GANs. Your hands are nano-coated, GANs-filled sacks of pure love from source, just like this stuff is. So I like to remind people of that. I think most people in this group know that. You can grab a cup of water and you can charge it with that without these permission slips, which is what they are, and remembrance slips. You know, it's just helping us remember who and what we are.
Thank you for reminding us.
Thank you. And I see it kind of as a tuning fork, okay? You know, if I'm a GANs filled sack of love, I've also had about 50 years of relationships and a lot of past lives and limiting thoughts and beliefs all over my onion. You know, I got a lot of layers of that, right? And to me, this is that in its pure sense and at its center. And maybe what I'm looking on expressing as once I remove some more of those things, right? So this system is going to be tuned up by this system too, because I'm going to resonate with that. And it's going to help me to bring together the things that I'm ready to release that aren't serving me. So it's an interactive thing. So a couple of different ways you can do that. These are the double-walled cups. Most of them come with, you know, there's no liquid in here. They're just air-filled. So when you buy it, it's going to look like that. There's different kinds. I try to find ones that have a fair amount of space between them. Some have very little space. This one has enough space where I know that I can melt something through there, and I won't be poking through both layers. So that's one of the things I look for. This one I've already made the hole through. Well, we'll do that with this one. And you want to make a hole that's big enough for your syringe to go through. I don't know if I can bring that one out enough. And that way you can fill it with plasma water of whatever kind you want. We have a mixture we call Avatar Smoothie, which is a lot of fun. And it's a mixture of CO2 zinc, fruit and veggie GANs, amino acids, a little bit CH3, and a little CuO. So it has 5 different kinds of plasma waters. But the idea is to have it be a smoothie for my body, you know, to help to feed and energize me. So you can put what you want in there. Some people ask, you know, do you just put the water? Do you put some GANs? I've done it both ways. I am aware that if I just put the plasma water, it's got the same attributes basically to me and energy as putting the actual GANs in there. And it lasts. I know the ones that we made, patches and cups that we made over a year ago, are still maintaining the way we tested field strength, function, the attributes of the original GANs that they came from. Those are the questions we ask it, and they say that they are. So each person, you know, make that discernment themselves. Some people like to put a few particles of GANs in there. They like a few little suns in there continuously charging things, and you can do that because, you know, you're not going to be drinking that. It's in the wall. Another way to do it is these little guys. You can usually get them at the hobby stores. They had them at the Dollar Tree last year. She laughs. I love the Dollar Tree. Oh my gosh, I love it. I go in there after 3 things, and then you come out with a whole basket full.
Yeah, I bought them out.
Oh, no, you did?
I bought them out.
Stop that.
But that was Canada.
And again, these don't do real well for holding water in that space. You've tried
Yeah,
it
they
several
leak.
times. Some people will put a nano-coated plate in there. It's kind of nice to be able to do that. Or, you know, people that are making their patches, I just have them, and you can switch them out, which is kind of cute. You know, you can put different ones on different days, you know, and ask it to plasmify the liquid that you put inside, and then you drink that. That's another way to do it. Does anybody have the sandwich that they made over there? Yeah, because I like to make that point. Here. Thank you. I give it right back to you. The other way to plasmify water is just to, pretend like this is not vinegar water, is to have a spray bottle of distilled water, or you could use your well water, depending on what you're going to use it for, and you just sit your patches on it. Okay? And according to the testing that we've done and the way that we've done it, that water will be plasmified within a few minutes, especially if you use distilled water. To me, that's like putting a blank disk in the computer. The patch down here is going to program that distilled water with the same attributes that it has. So now we have plasmified vinegar water. I don't know what that's for, but you know, or they'll put it around it, or they'll put it under it. You can put it over it. I'm just going to answer all these questions. Where do we put it? And I'm going to say what I see on here, what I visualize, is this isn't a two-dimensional little flat thing. What I'm holding here is a big torus field. Each patch has, our friends that can see these things say that each patch has a 1.5 foot torus around it that's very active. That's going boom, 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 boom. And then when you add 3 on top of each other, you got boom, boom, boom. And they're moving energy. Real nice. I imagine it like you know, you see pictures of magnets in their fields when they play with the iron filings and you see the little fields around the magnets. You don't have to plug that in, right? And it never loses its field. It's just constantly working, and when you bring it in contact with other things, it interacts with them. Yeah. It either pushes or pulls or connects or releases. And it doesn't have to be plugged in, and it never loses its charge. So that's kind of how I see those, is like a big stack of toruses. So if you adjust your visual to that, you can imagine what this is doing when you take it to work. Sitting next to the boss. And we've been known to plasmify spray containers. Imagine what you can spray with that. There's other things you can spray with that.
Do anything for the air?
Yeah, we'll go over to that table in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, you can spray everything. Okay, so let's do this. Many ways to do this. Some people will try to take.
Put CO2 in it.
Right now?
Well, Gunther said pass it up. I'm still
Okay,
looking
thank
for
you.
the magnets.
Yeah, and that's the other way to do it. Like Gunter said, you can put your plasma water or CO2 in a container,
And then put it your
and then you
water.
can just drop it into a container of water. And you carry that around with you, and it's continually recharging that. I use those little bubble containers for that too. People will do that, put this in there, and then throw in their bathtub. Put some cans in here, makes a nice bath.
And where do you get those?
That looks like one of those little things where you put beads in them or something, like a hobby
Hobby
store.
Lobby. You get it at Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby.
And I've seen something similar at dollar stores or things like that too of that.
And they sell them on Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. So different ways to get your syringe in there. I started off by using a little screwdriver, getting it really hot and then going through there, and it works great. And then one day I forgot my screwdriver, and I was like, okay, that's hot. Let's see. And if you hold it on there long enough, especially the high temperature one, it is starting to work its way through. I'll just kind of hold it still.
I've also drilled them with the drill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to be
that's-
careful, but it
plastic
works.
breaks
Hand drill.
when I get with
It
my
can.
drill. But see how it's already made its way through there? So why not use the same thing that you're using?
Yeah,
There it
the
is.
simpler the better.
I like it.
Oh, and then she uses it
Okay,
again to-
so what are we
to
gonna
feel
put
it
in
out.
this one? Maybe a little zinc, a little CO2. We have the Avatar Smoothie Water. We can do that.
Avatar smoothie water.
CO2 zinc. Ooh, that's gonna be a high energy one. What do you guys vote for? I'm gonna mix it in here and then it'll be a little bit of each, right?
Avatar smoothie is probably my most often patch that I like to charge. But I have, it's like I'm an alchemist every time I mix my wine glass. I've got all my different things that I play with.
Oh, yeah. This is alchemy, isn't it? I mean, the whole thing is, because it's consciousness, it's whatever you feel good about doing, you know, you keep your mind open and your heart open and you play, you know? And your ideas are towards expansion and health and on the way on this planet. I don't know whose little things I'm getting into. Whoever left them on the table is going in there.
And it's all good.
Yeah, this one was CO2 amino acids. I thought that would be kind of cute. We have zinc oxide. I put the CO2.
They have the
Anything else?
gold over here.
This
and
is
the
Whitney's special CO2. Should we put a little oomph of that in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Put a little bit of Whitney's happy CO2 in there.
gold,
Anything else?
silver.
Ooh, I've not put gold in a cup before. Why not? Why not? This is going to be the golden avatar.
I don't know if you can see
Oh, this
It
is her
comes out
purple gold.
Purple, like a
Isn't it
diamond.
beautiful?
Lilac.
That was made by Carolyn.
That was monoatomic silver that I used to make that form of the gold.
Monatomic gold, you mean?
Monatomic, sorry, gold, yes.
I was like, boy, that was some true alchemy, honey.
Yeah, woo! I muscle test that it has the same properties as the actual
Yes.
gold metal, but you know, it's what you have available and convenient for you.
Can we have some of your CO2, Gunter?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. It is alchemy. And like Nikki was talking about with Fukushima, I think there's some serious alchemy that went on with that water, and that's an interesting story too. We'll go into that.
Hopefully that's continuing.
Well, just that there's a lot of mercury in the water that's been through the radiation, I guess, of a nuclear plant. And mercury is just one electron from gold, which is quite interesting. So the alchemy that happens in that, they were noticing that there was a lot of white powder on the bottles and it wasn't CO2 GANs. My understanding is that it was determined to be monatomic gold. So as you transmute the radioactive water that has mercury in it, the potential is to have that radioactive material help to transmute and alchemize the mercury and to its next level of evolution, like us. You know, we have a next level of evolution, and that would be gold. So, yeah, serious alchemy going on. Okay, so I don't know if this is enough to put in there or not.
I think it is.
More than enough.
Give it a
Yeah,
guess.
really.
Yeah, I think more than enough.
I had somebody else do this last time. Someone else want to do that?
And while you're doing that, I'm gonna have to pass this around so people can hold, and if you're energetic
Oh
and
my
sensitive,
gosh.
you can feel how, this is like one of the most energetic ones, and if you don't feel it, it's a good practice to start, because that kind of feeling comes with practice, so just hang on to it. Just a suggestion, you might wanna bring it close to your stomach, and then intend the field to surround you, or just feel it right there, whatever you like.
That is so cool. Where did you get your monoatomic gold?
Amazon,
Amazon?
and I muscle tested out of what was available, it's miso.
You can come up here and do it.
And I
And what
got
I'll
the
do is I'll kind
smaller
of hold it this
jar.
direction, because it does tip.
It's around here somewhere. It's like red, clear red wine color, and it was $40, even though it was that small. But you know, I only used like 4 tablespoons of it in the CO2 making, and got that.
Keep a little air bubble around, so I have some room.
That's what I muscle tested was best. But you know,
What's it doing?
out of what was available. So I'm not saying there's other brands that are even higher, but I just tested what was the. What did I test? I don't remember what I tested. What was the best one to use for gold GANs? I think I was testing.
I wonder if you could melt that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So this the top
I don't
seal
know if you
leaking?
guys saw that. Yeah, some of these, I got these at the Dollar Tree, and I've made probably 10 of them that have come out just fine. This one seemed to have a little leak around the inside of the top. As we were turning it this way, the liquid was coming out.
Okay.
So, yep, there's different kinds, different qualities. These I got at Walmart in the, yeah, there we go. We'll just leave just enough air. Yeah, probably just finish that syringe, I think. There we go. Then we'll hold it so she's.
Can you shake it a little bit, Heather, so I can
I
see the
am,
bottom?
just so I can see, because it looks like it's not filled up the whole thing. It's got two, this one has like 2 different layers on it, I guess because of that little plastic that's there. This one, you can kind of scoop around in.
Oh, so there it is. Okay.
See, it's kind of, it has like a little plastic thing in there.
Oh, it's got some sort of liner already in it.
It does. So once you've got it filled to where you want it filled, you just close the hole. Basically, I'll usually put a little bit of this kind of in the hole. There it goes. And some of it will try to come back out because it's, wait for it. Wait for it. So, there it goes. So, you can use super glue. Like when I send a kit to somebody, I'll send them one of these double-walled cups that already has a hole in it. And I usually send the liquid separate and tell them to syringe it in there after it gets there. Because I don't know how it's going to act in an airplane or, as pressures come up and down, it might blow. I don't know. We've also sent some successfully from here to Georgia and not had a problem. So that's another option, is you can send them the water separate, let them inject it, and we have our little 1-page PDF instruction that show people how to do this. And then I'll let it dry real good and check it again. I may end up putting a little more glue on there a little bit later. But, pretty soon, I've made one of these in the morning before work and then taken them to a friend that was, having the flu and stuff like that. It's really quick.
So
And
what
you
kind
can
of
give it to
glue did you use there?
Kind of hot glue.
Okay.
Doing pretty good. And some people come back later and kind of sand that off a little bit or something. So I'll probably let it dry a little more before I stand it back up. But then it's the double wall cup. Ta-da! What questions do you have?
Do you have any testimonials for using it?
Oh, yeah, people love these things. To me, it's similar to the patch, but it's so much convenient for someone to carry it around with them, because people talk to us about like how it adjusts the field around the cup. You don't even have to have the thing filled with water. They're just in the field. So it's like carrying the patch with them, or being, on those pads or something like that, just because it's around them. And people that can feel fields, they know there's fields in that cup. My crown's going right now. Right? With the Avatar smoothie water, oh my gosh, we've had so many people, and we need to record them at some point. Ones that are coming to mind right now are like people that don't normally drink water. They don't like water. Their bodies haven't really let them drink much water. Once they start drinking plasmified water or having that available, they drink and drink and drink and drink, and they're finally able to get hydrated. We've had these patches. We've been giving them out to friends that are in a group that we have like regular meditations and work with, and most of them have special needs kids on autistic spectrum. And it's really difficult to get either food or water in those kiddos, and many of them just really enjoy the plasma water, whereas, regular water, it's like fighting tooth and nail to get it in them. There's some resonance with them about it. It's a different vibe, it's a little more alive, probably, in regular water. People that have the pH testers, they usually notice that it alkalizes the water. You know, impurities, where they tested how many parts per million of impurities it has and whatnot, the plasma water tends to, I don't know if it's raising or lowering that number, but basically it's more purified than the water was that has not been treated with it. We have a friend that does devices, and since she started adding this to that system, she said, you know, it takes less water to clean the people's houses. They call her and they want her back, not somebody else. You know, some people may not know what it is, or that, you know, but they know they like it, and it resonates with them. There's just so many places that this water could be put in people's what they normally do. You know, like Nikki makes soaps, you know, my friend makes cosmetics, you know, people that make any sort of, gosh, sports medicine and medical side of this, like massage therapist stuff, I see so many applications. The agriculture side is huge. We'll do that one maybe. So that's what came up for me first. Do you remember anything else that Dee was saying about the avatar patch? No, she just went on and on and on about it. I think she was the one that said she just, all of her life, she's never really drank water. Her body just doesn't like it. And when she started doing the plasma water, she just drinking. Yeah. Oh yeah, your pond story.
Oh, my pond.
Come to the pond story.
My mama has this, you know, man dug hole on
This is Linda.
pond on her lake. Hi. I'm her shadow.
Yes,
But anyways, you know, man-made pond.
shadow and
dug
my light
pond
both.
on her land, and it's been there for many years. I don't know, lost track of those times. But it always stayed murky, muddy, and she'd have to pump air into it, and
Fish pond.
a little fish pond.
Goldfish
and-
pond?
Yeah, fish pond, and she'd have to pump air into it and add water to it and everything. But anyway, it was always muddy, murky. So I suggested she plasmify some water with CO2, the white patch, and she did, poured it in her pond, and some days later, it took days because, you know, it was a good sized pond, and days later that water was crystal clear. You could see to the bottom and see all the fishies and everything. The water is clear, still crystal clear. It's been a couple of months ago, yeah. Just with CO2 plasma water. It was so
You
awesome.
just put a patch in it.
Too, you can do
Well, you
that.
could put a patch in it.
Yeah, but you just poured
But
some in.
if you plasmify, to me, it would be quicker to plasmify some water,
Yeah.
and then you got a larger quantity and larger and larger, you know,
So
that
like
kind of
people
way.
who do swimming pools would do like a
Yes.
Yeah.
5-gallon thing, and they would, like, as they made it, they would pour it in
Yes.
to get it going faster.
Yeah.
Because you could do it with something small, it's just gonna
You
take
could,
a
it'd
lot
take longer,
longer.
a lot longer.
So you want it quicker, gotta get more out faster.
There
The volume,
are
yeah.
several plasmified swimming pools in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, can you imagine if this has a 1.5 field around it, what does a swimming pool have?
And one person took a picture of his plasmified pool with an aura camera,
Yeah.
and it's a big golden globe.
And he has a friend that
It's
sees
gold
the colors,
around
and he
the
saw
pool.
it grow over a week. And it was just like a little haze over the pool for a while, and then it made a bubble over the pool, and then it's gone over the yard, and then now it's like going down the block.
Yeah.
So it somehow it perpetuates
Is that
and
the one-
grows or something.
Is that the one where the neighbor was walking by and said she saw colors and things? And
Oh, that's Rodrigo's
Oh,
house.
it's open. Knocking on the door.
Can you
What's
imagine
going on
his
here? Plasma field.
Oh, I'm gonna, before we leave this subject, I wanna do the breathing subject. So, Kesh often says, get the plasma water in you 3 ways. You know, if you have something that you're really working on or towards.
Do you want a breathing tube, did you say?
No, well, that's one. Yeah, we showed. So, you know, one way is drinking the water, getting it in your GI tract, in your physical body through that tube that goes through your body. He calls us a sausage-shaped tube in the middle, which we kind of are. You know, we're like a vacuum sausage, but we have a little straw going through us. This is one end, and there's a couple. So one way is drinking it. If we're going to get the plasma in us 3 ways, one way is drinking it. One way is breathing the plasmified air, which is really important. So the lungs are the part of our body that kind of harbors the emotional component of our makeup. And as you breathe plasmified air, then that is helping to balance the emotional side of the dis-ease, which is, as we know, is probably one of the biggest components of anything, right? So there's different ways of breathing plasmified air. This is, what's in the outside, Victor? He's got
That's ZNO and
ZNO and
CO2. Those are two tubes here, and this is to use.
I like that. I like that. It just
And
kind of
then
hangs out.
in the
Oh,
nose.
it's okay.
Yes,
Yes.
that's for the nose.
Oh.
When you are using it, you breathe it in through the nose and you breathe it out through the mouth, because otherwise,
That's intelligent design.
when you are breathing it out through the nose, the same air will get back into that, and you want
Oh,
to
okay.
have new air flowing.
And he did say it's important to breathe in through your nose if you can. You can
Yes.
breathe in through your mouth, but the way we're made is to breathe in through our nose.
What were the, in the two tubes?
ZNO and CO2. That's what Dr. Rodriguez was recommending.
You can just put the zinc oxide, you can just put CO2, they're all gonna have good effects on your body. Some people do a combination. I was just gonna show with the double walled cups, I love these little curly Q straws of liquid. So we can spill something there. I'm gonna do this for a moment. And then after I drink my cup full of liquid, I'll drink a few cups full of air. You know, because it's plasmified air, you know. Why you want to drink plasmified air? In my lungs, I'm not taking oxygen in its physical molecule stage into my arteries at the end of the lungs, okay? I'm breathing in oxygen molecules. The body between here and here is breaking that oxygen down into its nano state, into its GAN state, into its essence, I guess. Frequency is one way of understanding it. And that is what crosses the wall. It's not the physical molecule, it's the plasma state of oxygen that crosses the wall. So when you drink plasmified air, breathe plasmified air, you're doing some of that work for your body. It's already prepared. So, you know, I think people that have like emphysema, they're on oxygen, things like that, it's going to be a real benefit for them to not have to spend that energy breaking those things down. And they can put that energy into their healing process. You know, so that's one way to do it,
Do you
these
want me
types of
to
things.
introduce this here too? The
Yeah.
third string?
You got? Yeah.
This yeah, I had the idea not only using the health necklace, also breathe in supplement for my health. And so there is a lot of supplements in there in little compartments. And I'm using it also the same way. Using it like this.
By supplements, you mean like vitamins and minerals?
Yes, yes.
that
I
you
have a
make
list
GANs
here,
out of?
a list here,
Ah.
all what my body needs and might need. You know, everything is plasmified, and the body is using what it needs, and so the body can take a lot of several things. So it's all plasmified. Vitamins,
class.
all of the vitamins, A, B, and C, B12 too. Minerals, all the minerals, which are also in our body already. Then we have chromium, magnesium, and for boosting up our immune system, it's in there. It's a mixture of licorice root, ginger root, rihanna, and reishi mushroom. For destroy candida, I add wormwood, shilajit, pau de arco, and then you might know that we have a lot of bad calcium in our system, and for that I added MSM to destroy that bad calcium, and in another compartment I had calcium made out of eggshells.
Wow.
There are also enzymes, and for the mood enhancer, I got resveratrol, which is in red wine, and also red root.
So,
It is all in there.
Gunther, did you make Gans water out of each one of those substances?
Some of them I combined. I plasmified them in lye, in hot lye.
Okay, thank you.
That would be another class, making the GANs of
Oh yeah, and then I created something
vitamins,
else for
minerals,
Colleen.
herbs, foods.
You might tell about the other breather for breatharian.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I had it, I did a lot of food cans and I put that all together like this here in the third string.
Yes, and I've been using it for, I'm taking it slow on the breatharian thing, just because she tempts me too much. We just have too many things around the house that I love to eat. So, I'm using it for, a lot of different reasons, but I don't eat well, because, I just, I'm not a very good cook, and I got I'm just a busy schedule. I'm a single mom, and so I'm really running around a lot. But Gunther made me one of these, and I've been using it sort of as a supplement. I don't take any vitamins or anything like that. So I've been living on, and this is not recommended at all, but cakes and candies and things on the go, and
In the
just
tube.
really bad stuff, and I feel fantastic. And my skin has gotten really glowing, and just all kinds of things. So it's definite proof that you can get your vitamins through another means besides what foods we eat. There's definitely not a lot of vitamins in what I've been eating lately, just because I'm too busy. But yeah. So, thank
And you
very
had a
much.
question over here? I'm
Yeah.
gonna get her name, no, this lady who's writing. What was your question? I just know you had your hand up before.
Yeah, thank you. Are we going to learn how to make a certain vitamin supplement from powder or liquid into GANs eventually?
We have a PDF and a video on that.
Okay.
And that would be a
On your
beautiful
website?
subject for a program like this.
Right.
Yeah.
So it suggests, when people ask me that, I suggest that this community get together and establish regular workshops. There's so many subjects you could do once a month or something, in whatever location, and there would be a team that chooses a subject and then advertises and then sends out an email list. It could be done.
And also
And
now
I'm,
that,
I'm happy to help people along. I just know I won't be the primary
Where do
one
you find
doing
that video? Is that on your website or?
It's on my YouTube channel. I don't think I've uploaded it to the website yet,
Okay.
but I will.
now
I've
that
been
you've
doing
got your little trifecta GANs kit,
Uh-huh.
a lot of the stuff can be made the same way you're making the CO2, which is the white GANs,
Mhm.
by putting these substances in with that, mixing it together with them.
You mean the liquid? You just pour it right into the
Yeah, if it's a
water?
liquid form, you could, if it's, okay, the real answer is if it's already monoatomic form, so you'd have to know that ahead of time, like the monoatomic gold liquid that I showed you, I didn't show everyone else, it's already in monoatomic form, it can be just added with the calcium. To do it from, and I'm just giving you the answer because it won't stick in your head, but to do it from something that's an actual plant or an herb like Gunther has done, he's added some herbs, and you would put that in with caustic so it can break down. You can add a whole bunch in at once. You could put all 10 herbs in, you could put a rose petal in, you could just go crazy. That's what they did with the Avatar smoothie with the vegetables and fruits, right? You took your garden stuff from your
Yes,
garden, she chopped it all
Yes.
up.
I'm gonna say that is another class, and that's a
Right, yeah, I'm
really
just giving you a
long-
quick explanation,
a
but
short explanation of a
so it can be
process.
done, and it's not that hard, you just have to figure out how to, learn how to do it, that's all. So
That would
I want to inspire you to not give up on that dream, because it's not that hard.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do you have any paper towels or anything?
You
I just
know,
don't
in the
want this to end
kitchen,
up on
in the
people's
kitchen we
plates.
do.
Okay. Kesha's having some university research class studies done on the CO2 GANs for cancer. Okay, they're being done at the University of Japan, and they're getting the, that's okay, they have a lot of fun when they get together. They're having research done that, is accepted by the medical community, that is accepted by people, but they are doing it independently, so that other things that tend to get involved with research sometimes don't become part of that, right? So they're doing that for cancer. They're getting ready to do it for AIDS because we've had a lot of experience with that, I guess you would say. They've been using that in the field and getting feedback that people that are doing kind of a regimen just with the CO2, CO2 and zinc, are having a lot of shifts in whether or not their blood tests are showing they have AIDS anymore, which is huge, right? There's a fellow Paul in Togo. You know, we can probably send you some of the clips that have him describing what he's done and how he's done it. And it's very similar to what we were talking about. They basically get the plasma water into their life about every way you can think of. And, you know, it's the CO2 and zinc. I know Paul has talked about the couple that he's working with that has had that shift happen for them. You know, they drink it, they take a bath in it, they don't drink anything but that, they cook with it, you know, they wash their clothes in it, they clean their house in it, so basically they're in that field. Kesh talks a lot about that CO2 is made for viruses. You know, it's made for cancer and viruses. It doesn't kill them, it changes the field and environment where they don't need to be there anymore. It also basically kind of diffuses their energy. CO2 wants balance. So when it's in an area where there's a virus, which has a very, I would say, I'm not going to say high frequency because that has its own little connotations. The virus is got a very almost overactive frequency. The CO2 is very neutral, so when the CO2 gets near it, it's like it pulls that excess off of the virus. So it neutralizes the virus. I guess that's the best way to say it. So it's no longer a virus, it's just a packet of protein. And he's saying in the long run that could actually be useful to the person because it ends up feeding their body instead of being a virus any longer. Yeah, in a nutshell, okay? There are some really good studies and summaries of what's been done on the cancer and the CO2, and the findings are really similar with the AIDS. I'm going to say that for the moment. Yeah, big. Yeah. So I don't want to put Little Bug off too much longer, and we can give you a lot more detailed in some of the resources
why
on
not
those.
CH3 for the cancer?
Why isn't it?
Why not? Yeah, like why don't you use it? Because of the energy?
I'm going to give you my concept of it, because I know that we've been talking about this a lot in the medical class. I go to a class every Wednesday where the medical people meet with each other and Kesh, and we discuss different cases and what we can and can't do and should and shouldn't do. And it keeps coming up, CH3, because I love it. You know, people should be able to use it. It is like I think what I'm going to attribute it to is like when people have cancer, you don't necessarily want to add energy to the tumor. It's like the tumor has too much energy already and it's pulling the energy out of the body. So this is a giver. And so I think there's a place for it, but maybe not early in the stages of the treatment. You know, early in the stages of the treatment, you want balance. You want emotional stability. You want things that have too much energy to kind of have that pulled out of it so that it can settle down and be balanced energies in the body. And then I think probably, you know, later in the process, once that's cleared, which it seems to do that really well, clearing that.
And that's zinc and CO2?
CO2 and zinc.
Yeah, okay.
It's my current understanding of that. Cool. Yeah, of course, everybody does what they feel good about. I always ask people, do you do muscle testing? Do you do pendulum? Do you talk to your body? You get to visit with your body about all of these things. Yeah. So. All right. I see Ann want to say something.
No, just before we, instead of all of us moving over there after Angela, maybe you could just bring a tub over here. And
Okay. Yep.
it saves
We
us
could.
all
There's 3
lots
tubs.
of-
Okay, do we need a little potty break? Anybody
She's
want
just
to
going to be very quick. It's going to be very short, but Angela's going to do.
You come over here, Angela, and then I'll rearrange my table.